Auburn football, best, worst, favorites, and more. MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, talking Auburn football. We got Joe Hunk on the line from the Fallout 740. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. It is going to be a great Monday, and we're going to be ready to roll on this. It's going to be a great day.
I like that vibe. That's taken me from where I am, which is a good place, and made it an even better place. I know where to go for some inspiration. Thanks, Joe.
I give you energy. I drink this every single day right here. This is called an amino drink. This is grape. It's basically like an energy drink, but it's a little bit more natural and a little bit healthier for you. So I always drink one of these a day, maybe sometimes two, depending on if I'm tired or not. I got in from a flight yesterday around 1 a.m., so I need a little bit of that today.
You could probably sense that I was going to ask you what the secret was. That's the secret.
I'm ready because I have this right here. And what's great is because, so I never forget it at home, I have the whole thing like right here. Like, Amino, I just gave you a free plug. There you go. Right there. I have it underneath my desk so that I'm never forgetting it.
That's it. Okay. I was just at GNC the other day, and they don't even sponsor this. I shouldn't even mention them. But anyway, I was at GNC the other day, and trying to figure out what to purchase. Anyway, we're talking Auburn football, and we'll get into it. Fun little off-season conversation and topic, and certainly you folks at home can join in and leave your comments in the section below in your response to what Joe and I bring to the table in regards to your memories and what really has hit you hard down through the years. So if we look at the wins, illustrious football history, you can go back as far as you want. Whatever your time reference is fine. The most exhilarating don't necessarily need to be the most important wins. Whatever your criteria, most important wins, most exhilarating wins for Auburn football.
I think for me, from the time that I've been watching as a fan, I think there's two that really come to mind because with Auburn, people want to say the 2010 national championship game. What sucks about that game, which you had the Michael Dyer run and all that, what really sucked was the fact that it was basically an extra point kick. Like there was no drama. There was no 45 to 50 yarder that you're sitting there doing this little movement, trying to see if it's going to go in or not. The moment that they got down to the 2-yard line, you kind of knew it was over with. And we already started celebrating. I was in the stadium and we were already celebrating. I think for 2010, if I'm looking at the most exciting ones, is I would probably say that the first one is the comeback, is the game against Alabama. And for me personally, I was in the stadium for that one. I was given a ticket as like a last-minute gift. Hey, we've got an extra ticket. Let's roll. And I'm in the stadium, and after halftime, all the Alabama guys or I should say all the Auburn guys had kind of all gotten together. And we were just standing in this little pack because Auburn was getting killed. They were one of the best teams in the country. Don't know if you know this about Alabama fans, but they kind of love to stick it to Auburn every once in a while. And
we'll have to talk about that sometime. Is that a thing, really?
This only started a couple of years ago.
Okay.
But with this, it started happening, and we're like ganging up together. Like, all right, guys, we need to stick together on this. And then the comeback starts happening, and I'm like, all right. And this whole group of people that didn't know anything about each other, we started celebrating everything that was happening in the Lutzenkirchen touchdown at the very end. What was cool about it for me personally was I was also in that stadium for the 2008 game where Alabama just destroyed Auburn for the very first time. It was when Greg McElroy came in after John Parker Wilson. Alabama was up like 29-0. I left the stadium early, like it was that embarrassing. The whole time I'm thinking to myself, God, this is about to happen again. This is about to happen the second time. I'm about to get embarrassed walking out of the stadium. And so that's one of the most exciting ones. For me personally, I go all the way back to the Frank Sanders catch against Florida in Gainesville. And the only reason I do that, the only reason I even go to that one, that was my very first Auburn memory. Like if you talk about where your fandom started, I was a fan of Auburn because I had family that were Auburn fans. And I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. As far as a personal memory to me, that first one that when I see what we call Daniel A. Moore painting, which is a local guy that likes to paint memorable moments for Alabama and Auburn, that's the first one. Like that is it. That's where my true fandom for Auburn started. So I think that one right there, the Frank Sanders catch against Florida in Gainesville was probably my biggest one.
Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, talking Auburn history recently with Joe Hunk from 740 The Fallout. It's The Fallout at 740. Please join him right there. It's a good time with Joe. Certainly every time he comes on here to talk Auburn football and Alabama. So we've talked the Tigers' most exhilarating, most important wins for you. And again, we want you folks out there to join in the conversation, leave your comments, because this is personal perspective. So losses, again, if you just want to go on the scale of importance, it's fairly easy to look at championship implications and that sort of thing, but excruciating losses, however you want to categorize those.
With the ones that come to mind, you're going to hear about 2013. You're going to hear about the Florida State game. That was a national championship that all Auburn fans thought that they were going to win. They had it won. I will always argue that Trey Mason should have fell down on the 1 yard line, very similar to what Michael Dyer did in 2010, to try to kill some time and all that, because Auburn just had an offense that they knew Florida State was not going to stop them, and they were already in field goal range, and they could have punched it in anytime they wanted to. But in the way that game loss really hurt, for me personally, I go back to 97, and I go to the SEC championship game that Auburn had against Tennessee. And I told you that the Frank Sanders catch, that was probably my first true Auburn memory, that where I really got excited for Auburn football. For the loss to Tennessee at the time was heartbreaking. Like, I'd fallen in love with that team. You had Damian Craig, you had Fred Beasley as the running back. You had a lot of players that people will remember. The problem is, I didn't realize that Auburn was going up against a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Peyton Manning. And they had them beat for a period of time. And it was at a party that I was watching this. And what's sad is I feel so bad for this now. We were at a girl's birthday party. The party didn't start until say 7 p.m. We turned the game on to kill time before the party started. And then as every single guy rolled in, they didn't care a thing about the party, and we just all started surrounding the TV and watching it. And we opened up her gifts at halftime. She was not happy with me after that. But it was something that it was one of those first times where I was hanging out with people and I was watching a game, and I knew Peyton Manning was really good, but this was that Auburn team that I was like, this is like the first true magical football team that I remember seeing and watching. The 97, the only reason they got into that SEC championship game was because of a stupid play that Alabama ran in the Iron Bowl, where it was like a swing pass to the running back, and he gets hit and fumbles, and Auburn gets into field goal range to win on a last second kick. Like, they shouldn't even have been in the game, because Alabama should have been smarter than that in their play calling. And so I was really heavily invested in that. So for me, that the heartbreaking loss, 97 always hurts. 97 always hurts more. 2013 is bad because you look at it now, knowing everything that has happened since then, and knowing, okay, getting there is very special. We had just been there 2 years before that. That was really special, and we took it for granted as an Auburn fan base to see that it happen in 13.
I think any of us who have been hardcore college football fans for a long time have some version of your birthday party story, where family events, obligations for friends, parties, reunions, weddings conflict with important football games, and they don't always mix depending on who's winning the game, what time the game is scheduled versus the event. There are often some issues there that we come across.
Yeah, she's not real happy with me, and I think she's over it now. It's been a good 22 years. I think she's kind of over it, but she was not happy with me for a good period of time after that. But it happens. I mean, there's been weddings that happen on a Saturday that you got your phone in your hand and you're watching the game as you're taking pictures. If you're part of the bride party or the groomsmen and all that, if you're one of those people, you've got this TV going, and it happens. I mean, that's the reason why you always, when the schedule comes out, you always look at it and go, all right, here's wedding week. This is the week. If you're getting your wedding, let's go ahead and plan this thing, because nobody's going to come if you don't do it that way.
Yeah, nowadays, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that everybody's got a phone, because, everybody's got that easy, quick access. Okay, let's check it. Mid third quarter, 21-17. Okay. But then again, everybody's able to do that, where there was a time when there was typically some alternate room in the banquet hall or somewhere where there's a TV, and then where's so and so, and then you find like 28 guys around a TV, or sneaking out to the car and turning it on the radio or something.
There was a period of time, and I want to say it was 2008 if I remember it correctly. Alabama and Ole Miss were playing during the day, so while all the groomsmen were there taking pictures, I had my cell phone behind me. We'd take a picture. I'd pull it out. We'd all start watching it. When the guy said it's good to go, we'd put it behind us. And it was really exciting. The sad thing is that night, it was also game 7 of either the ALCS or ALDS when the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays were playing each other. And this was the one where the Rays went to the World Series. And I'm sitting there the whole time like, all right, I got to do a best man speech, but the game first pitch is starting in like 30 minutes. So my speech went from here to this. I love you, man. I love you. We're good. All right, let's get to the game.
Short and sweet.
It is. That's it. That's the only time I've heard.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I've got a ton of those stories as well, and memories are flooding back to me. Some of them not so pleasant in the moment in terms of the decisions I made and the priorities I set.
They got
Mark Rogers TV, Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. We got Joe Hunk on the line. The Fallout 740 talking Auburn football. We're going historic here today. Would like to remind everyone to help us continue the channel. Please grab the Amazon link in the description section below. Do your regular Amazon shopping as you normally would. Doesn't cost you an extra penny. Just use the link right there. And we're also on Patreon, the voice of college football community. Please join us on patreon.com. I actually just released a video with screenshots of how to do that.